That's an objective. And then you derive your next set of things based on this objective. If you want to do that, how can you do that? How can you achieve that objective? To improve cost efficient production of spare parts by 10%, 2 years, blah, 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 right? Those are the objectives. And then comes the strategy. So you have strategies like a game plan, is like a plan to achieve the objective. So you specify approaches to achieve the stated objectives. So you come up with multiple strategies. It's not just one. It's not one-on-one, right? There's no one-to-one mapping between objective and strategy. So you come up with multiple strategies to come up to achieve an objective. You can have more than one, more than 2, 3, 5, 10. So and these are again aligned to the objectives. These are meant to achieve the objective. So for example, in this case, target sales increase just before the period of new vehicle registration date. So you're talking about how can you achieve that objective of increasing the spare parts sales by 30%. You can do that by this is the approach that you can, this is a road that you can take to approach that. You can actually, just before the period of new vehicle registration, there's that window of opportunity that you get when the dealers would actually ask customers to register their new vehicles. So then what we can go after that particular period and say that, yeah, just before that starts, we can go after these dealers and try and get the spare parts, because they want to make sure that the vehicle is spick and span, right? So they can invest on that. Increase the share of supplying the space to defense vehicle. This is a market. So you can have one of the strategies could be to define the market, which kind of market you would like to go, what geography would you like to go, what vertical you would like to go, what domain, aerospace, defense, retail. They're all different domains, right? Healthcare. So you can define your market, your particular market, in terms of a domain or in terms of the vertical within that domain as well. So again, one more strategy, one more approach to get your objective. And once you define that, saying that I would like to focus only in the defense sector because that's something which is not many players there, but there's huge sort of money there, because a lot of obviously government contracts would be there. So you go after that specific segment. And then once you define that strategy, then you go for the tactics, which is the next level, right? So that's what is the tactical way of achieving that strategy. It is one more level below. So it's the middle management, and then the project managers, program managers, they operate in this tactical level. So you can have multiple tactics for achieving the strategy. So again, this is for each of the strategies. Say, analyze the data from dealers to understand the seasonal patterns of registration dates. So that. So we decided that we'll go after the pre-registration date. So if that were the case, we need to understand what is a time period that usually is the registration time, right? So we need to understand that, to research that. Again, if you want to really go after defense, so what are the exhibitions? Go to the trade shows, exhibitions. When are they conducted for the defense traders? Only for the traders who supply components and parts and manufacturing assemblies to the defense equipment and defense automotive industry, automotive aspects of it. It could be cars, it could be non-passenger vehicles, it could be defense vehicles, military vehicles, it could be any of these, right? So you're talking about expanding your market much before the passenger vehicle segment. Again, so set up shops and arrange for talks at the popular defense expos and exhibitions. This is what we were talking about. So that gives you the tactical ways, right? And then you come up with a project, have a website, for example, set up a website, address these, go to this, have these conferences, attend the conferences, set up a booth at these conferences. All of these are the tactical level. And then once we have defined all of these and follow it up, we need to understand whether we're achieving what we wanted to do, what we intended to do, right? So you need to assess and measure constantly whether in the right track or not, whether on the right road, are you going the right speed or not? And that's where these critical success factors and then the next set of other things called KPIs and PTs will help. So what are critical success factors? These are the areas that must succeed to achieve positive performance. These are the areas. So we talk about what are we measuring? We're measuring revenue. We are measuring the operational effectiveness. We're measuring the downtime, right? So all of these are the areas that we're measuring. And key performance indicators are the downtime. The amount of downtime is basically the key performance indicator, right? How much the availability is basically a key success factor, and downtime could be the time that the application was not available. So your website should be, let's say, 99.99% available, meaning it is downtime. It still has a downtime of 0.001%, but that is dependent on the infrastructure, the networks, and the technology. We just had a network outage now. In spite of all the things that we have got, an optical fiber network here that I use, I still had an outage in the call. During the call, we had that about a couple of minutes that I was not available, that we could not continue with the session, which means that the downtime still played, and we need to work out ways and means to reduce that kind of a thing. So help assess how well we are achieving our CSFs, and then the measures and metrics are the key performance targets, as what we call, or the specific numbers that we need to measure, right? It could be the the time, it could be the cost that we reduced, it could be the number of times the process had been broken, the breakdown scenarios, the workarounds, all of those.